to make things so tough on Steph tonight?
What's that?
What did Phoenix do to make things so tough on Steph tonight?
They did a great job on Steph. Bridges was all over him, and they did a lot of switching. They stayed home, when he was off the ball, and the good looks that he did have, he didn't get them to knock. He didn't knock them down, so he never found a rhythm. But I thought their defense had obviously a lot to do with that. They were really, really good.
What, in your estimation, ended up being the separation there in the second half?
Well, we had 23 turnovers. Our offensive execution was really, really poor. They frustrated us. With the pick and roll, they did a really good job on Steph and Draymond in the pick and roll, and it just didn't feel like we executed some of the other stuff, that we were trying to run. And it felt to me like we were in a rush that whole game, especially in the first half. We were constantly in a rush, and against a great defensive team, if you're in a rush, you're going to turn it over, and that's what we did.
How much of their defensive success was it Ayton in the way he got out on the perimeter pretty well, and obviously his big presence in there.
Yeah, Ayton did a great job, on the switches when he was out on our shooters, and then, like I said, I thought Bridges did a really good job on Steph, and they've got a lot of, good long defenders, strong defenders. Crowder and Chris Paul, both really strong, and Cam Johnson. They've got length, and they switch a lot, and they took us out of a lot of our stuff.
There's a lot made of this matchup going into it. Did it feel like a playoff preview to you?
It was a great crowd here at the Footprint Center. Everybody was up and fired up, and it was really, really fun to feel that atmosphere in that environment. And I thought for the most part we competed well and hung in there. I mean, we were right there until the final few minutes, and had our chances, despite the fact that it's obviously a very poor night for us offensively. So, but I give them credit. They were the better team. They deserved to win. Their home crowd was great, but fun to be back in this type of atmosphere.
You mentioned rushing. When they do take away some of that stuff, Draymond, two-man stuff, what would you like to see? Just more patience, set up something?
Yeah, poise and patience. We had plays where we were, instead of coming down and just making a jump stop and finding the open guy, we were just in a rush, making passes on the move where we didn't even have the option to stop and assess what was going on. So because we're in a rush, we start making some passes that we can't pull back, and all of a sudden they get into a passing lane and we're throwing the ball out of bounds, or they're stealing it. So, of the 23 turnovers, it felt like a lot of them were because we were in a rush, and we've got to show more poise. We've got to execute better, and we'll look at the film, and it's probably good for us to go through this game, especially early in the season, because it's a good reminder that we're going to have to get a lot better.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. That is kind of a playoff level defense out there. Do you think, particularly for your young guys, or even for Steph or Draymond, that this is informative, and is it good that you're facing them again Friday so you can really kind of try to implement some of that?
Yeah, it'd be a great film to watch. We're going to have a ton of stuff to watch, and we'll get a closer look at our execution or lack thereof, and we'll have to put together a better plan. But this is kind of what it's about, at the very top level of competition in this league. It's going to be hard. It's supposed to be hard, and they're Phoenix's great team. They went to the finals last year, won the West. So, good measuring stick for us. Like I said, we were right there the whole way with them, despite missing a bunch of guys and not shooting well. So a lot to feel good about and a lot to get better with.
On a night where you were kind of looking forward on the offensive end, what did you think of the way Jordan played for you guys?
Yeah, Jordan, that first quarter was huge. We got to a little bit of a slow start, and and then I think he had 16, 18 points, whatever it was in the first quarter. But you know, when teams are going to commit people to Steph the way that Phoenix did, then there's going to be openings. You know, there's going to be openings for Jordan, openings for Otto. Those guys, you know, knocked down a bunch of threes. There's going to be openings for Klay Thompson. That's going to be fun.
Back, huh?
Yeah. So, you know, like I said, lot to look forward to. But the main thing we've got to take from this is we got to get better. We played the Western Conference champs. They were the better team. We get to play them again in a few days. Let's see if we can make some improvement and carry that improvement forward, so that when we do get into these type situations, we can be more effective.
Defense wasn't your issue, but Ayton did. You know, he had an impact inside offensively. Why do you think that was, and what could you do better?
Yeah, Ayton played well. I mean, you know, he's gonna score. You know, we're switching a lot. We're doing a lot of things defensively. He's going to get some points inside. So thought he played well, and I don't really look at that and say, oh my gosh, we got to go do something about Ayton. You know, he's going to get his points. He's a really talented player. So you know, like I said, we'll look at the tape and see what we can do better.
You guys did this a little bit against Portland too, where Draymond guarded the point guard. What did you like about that matchup with him starting against Paul tonight?
Well, I thought Draymond was great defensively, you know, and then obviously when he switches on the pick and roll, he ends up on Ayton. So it allows us to kind of stay home elsewhere. And I thought Draymond and Loon did a good job defensively of you know, kind of handling that pick and roll and keeping them from, you know, getting into a lot of their patterns and stuff. I thought our defense was good enough for us to win tonight. This was a game about offensive execution. That's where we failed.
Do you look at the game film any differently, knowing that you have these guys in a couple days?
Knowing that what?
That you have these guys again in a couple days, almost like a
Yeah.
playoff series.
Yeah, I mean, we get to look at it and make the adjustments right away. So that's kind of nice. It'll be fun to see if we can get better.
Was Andrew at 100% out there?
Yeah, he said he felt good.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Right there.